Welcome back to the Gather and Plays podcast, where we never have any fun and we don't laugh on this podcast.
Apparently.
I am your host, Joe Seaman, a real estate agent here in the Augusta, Georgia, Aiken, South Carolina, and North Augusta, South Carolina market. I am co-hosted by my lovely bride of over 20 years, Miss Hope. She is the chaos coordinator and the Jill of all trades. And today we've got a really, really fun...
I'm scared. Because we already had to do a retake of this.
You shouldn't be, because I'm already laughing.
He's already laughing.
In
I'm already...
head.
Okay, so it's rapid fire today.
We're going to do rapid fire today, and I'm going to ask Hope some questions. And then we might do rapid fire.
This is always a 50-50 shot, okay? Sometimes we get really funny, and then sometimes...
It gets like serious, and then you start crying and stuff.
And then sometimes Joe and Drew ask me questions that like...
bore you.
I'm like, oh my God.
So, rapid fire questions. Hope
Okay.
the spotlight is on you.
Yikes.
It's going to be all over the board. It's not even in one like category.
Thank goodness.
So,
okay.
Rapid fire questions. What is the most meaningful gift I have ever given you?
Man, this is one of those I wish I had like a beforehand, but I really don't like those because they got to be.
Hope loves very unscripted.
I really do.
Pop the question. I am very, very different. I at least want to know the question being asked, but Hope is not.
I think I'm going to go back to what I've said before, and that is when you planned that spontaneous trip for my birthday after Keaton had gotten married.
Most meaningful gift. That was the most meaningful gift.
Honestly, because I needed that time. Why is Drew's laughing? I mean, you've given me a lot of gifts.
Okay, I'm thinking of others, but okay, I'm glad you like that one. So it's all good. That was a good gift. Yeah,
it was. Okay, whatever. Okay, go ahead, fire away. What's the next?
What has been the most embarrassing moment in our marriage? Whether I embarrassed you, kids embarrassed you.
I know.
Or,
I can tell you right now.
I know which one you're about to say.
It didn't take me but 30 seconds. Did y'all see that?
I know which 30 one seconds. You're about to say.
We went to trade in my car. And I loved this car. I wanted the same car. I mean, I wanted a newer version of the same car. And so we drove to Charleston to get this car, and the guy was like, if he watches this, oh, Lord. Anyway, it don't really matter. The guy at the dealership was just, being a typical,
salesperson.
Our image of a typical salesman. But they're not all like that, because I've got a really good friend who sells cars. If you ever go and need them, go see Mecca at Milt Rubin. But anyway, totally different story. Not all of them are like this, but he was just, trying to talk and pretend and get himself tongue-tied is what he did. And my husband...
And I probably didn't help with
because
getting
he's
tongue-tied because I'm very sharp when it comes to numbers.
Let me just say, this was the days, too, where you could actually, haggle with a dealership. You don't really haggle anymore.
Right. This was back
the
in
price
2000,
is the price, okay?
2000.
It is what it is. I don't
10
know.
years ago or so?
It was, yeah, because we had the store. So it was like 2013, somewhere around in there.
Like that, yeah.
I don't even know what you did. But you looked at the guy, you called him lying, and you went, blub, blub, and you were like, you can't even keep up with your lies. You're getting tongue-tied. And the guy was like trying to interject, and Joe goes,
give me my keys back.
Joe goes, blub, blub, and I'm going, he said, just give me my keys back. We're leaving. And I wanted to crawl underneath the table. I have never been more mortified in my entire life. I've heard stories of my father-in-law doing this kind of antics when he was purchasing a car. He sees it as a challenge, and Joe was following suit, and I did leave with that car.
But we were leaving that dealership over $50 is what it was. $50 and floor mats, I think, is what it was.
I don't even know. I
was walking out of that.
I wanted to
dealership.
Crawl under the table. That's what I wanted, to crawl under the table. Oh, it was mortified. But
I think it was $50 in floor mats. I told him to give me my keys back. And we were leaving with your old car that we drove up in there with.
But we left with the new one.
But I was good with it because...
You were good with it.
They succumbed to whatever we...
Yeah, so there we
go. My
go.
request, because they were like, surely this dude is not going to walk out of here over $50 and
Yeah. Your dad did that over bird dog fees one time.
Something like that.
It was
$400.
crazy.
I
It was
think.
bird dog feast for me, or I don't know what it was. Anyway, go ahead. Fire
So,
away. The next question.
Next question. What is the most ridiculous argument you think we've ever had?
I don't know. Oh, well, I mean, I don't really know. I don't really remember stuff like that, but I will tell you, my brothers will probably validate this too. We were in Washington D.C. We were like doing this trip with my mom. We were going like to Washington D.C., Virginia. We went to Colonial Williamsburg, all the things, and we got to arguing on the way home over money or something. I don't even know, but you like took my debit card and you're like, I'm not giving this back to you because you don't. That was that first year, y'all, was a doozy.
It was tough.
It was a
tough year.
doozy.
And that was
I would
in
say
the first year of us being married.
my poor brothers, the next time we stopped at a gas station for a rest, they got out the car. But it was dumb. It wasn't even like it had any significance. Like, I don't even remember why we argued about it.
Just because I'm a control freak and you're a control freak.
Yes. I was like,
And
you were going to tell me what to do. I was not
two
going to
control
listen to
freak
you.
people in one car on a trip.
Yes. That was
Newly
the
married.
I don't even know why we did that. But anyway, that would be, we don't argue that
most
much.
ridiculous.
So I would say, yeah, that would be it.
Yeah. What advice would you give to a newly married couple to get through that first
To not
couple
think,
years?
okay, don't set the expectation that it's going to be rosy for the first couple of years. Just know that like you're going, I don't care if you knew each other forever. I don't care. That first year, I told my sister-in-law this when she married my brother, and she kind of thought I was a little crazy too. But she has since revisited that because it's on film, what I said like in my speech to them at the rehearsal dinner. And she's told me, like, I didn't know what you were saying, but I get it now. That first year when you're meshing with that person and you go from like being, you were together, but you carried two different lives and you meld those into one. I mean, for us, it was arguments like vacuum mark lines, or you wanted vacuum mark lines and I didn't want you to write a list out for me, or whatever, like we had our own routine systems, whatever. I say give yourself some grace and like just stick it out and weather the storm.
And just don't have those expectations.
Don't have those expectations that everything's going to be rosy.
My mother stayed home with us. I mean, she stayed home, but like she worked all day long, staying home. But my dad would go out of the house and work, and then he would come home, and my mom would have dinner on the table. Everything would be done. Vacuum lines in the carpet. And
that
was my expectation of what marriage was, and boy, was I wrong. So
when we rebuilt, we moved out of that house, we sold it, and when we rebuilt, I refused to have any carpet in our house.
No carpet.
No carpet, because vacuum lines were a big deal.
Yeah.
To you, not me.
Yeah.
But now I get it as I'm
still a clean freak.
You are, and I'm not a clean freak, but I don't have those same. And then as we've gotten older, and our boys have gotten older, and our baby boys have gotten older, and we're busy, it is sink
vacuum
or swim.
Lines don't even make sense. Just get the floor
sink
vacuum.
or swim. Like life is crazy. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So
as long as
there's that.
Not like dishes all over the sink.
I cannot stand dishes. There are certain things I cannot stand dishes. But anyway, go ahead.
Good. What is one thing that you've learned about yourself through our relationship?
I would say that I'm more confident. I'm more assertive, and you've helped.
Before
I was cocky, and but I wouldn't. I was such a people pleaser, and I still am a people pleaser. Like that's just in my DNA. But I didn't take that time that I needed. I would do whatever it took at the detriment to myself to keep everybody else happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say,
and you still do that to an extent.
I do it to an extent, but you've instilled that confidence in me that it's okay if you can't show up for everybody else. You got to show up for yourself. So I would say that would be the biggest thing, is just that, I feel like I'm stronger and I'm more I was independent before. I was never going to get married. And if I did get married, I was never going to have children. And my husband was going to take my last name. Like, that's just what I was. I know. That's crazy. I know. And I say that because I was the last Allen in my family at that time, and the line was going to die with me. But whatever. It's since not. I have 2 younger brothers. But all that to say, like, that's what I would say is I'm stronger independently, but I'm also stronger together as a unit.
Okay. Next is, what is something that we have accomplished together that you're proud of?
Our boys. Our boys and who they are and who they're becoming. And I'm not saying they're perfect, and that's not this me saying, oh my gosh, our kids are amazing, wonderful. They are those things to me. But our boys, they love both of us. I mean, you know, they have their favorites. It is what, but they love both of us. And they know, like, at the end of the day, like, we're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen for our kids. And for whatever they've ever wanted to do, sport and clays, fishing, plants, baseball, football, whatever interest our 3 boys have had, we do those together. It's not just hope you take them and you deal with all the stuff. You get in where you fit in as well, and it's a unit. Our boys is what I'm most proud of.
Yeah. All right. What parts of your life now look like you pictured when you were young?
I don't know. I didn't really picture anything when I was young.
Because you were Miss Independent, not getting married, right?
That's right. I honestly didn't picture it. I didn't know how to dream when I was a kid. So I wasn't that girl who dreamed of a wedding and how it was going to look and I was going to do this. I lived my days minute by minute. So that's what I would say. That's probably not the answer to your question, but that's the truth.
It's all good. Yep. There are no wrong answers on this.
Oh.
It's all rapid fire. Who would you describe today, 2024, as your people?
Well, this will get me in trouble. Like my circle?
Yeah, you don't have to name names, but who are your people? What are they like? What attributes do they have?
They're moving the same direction with me. But they also, I'll tell you what I love about my people in my life, you included in those group of people, is I don't like to do things wrong. I am very, I don't know the word I'm trying to say. I'm not a perfectionist by any means, but I like to do everything to the best of my ability. And so if I do something wrong, I don't usually take criticism very well. But the people in my life right now, they're able to say, oh, they're able to like give me that criticism and I take it very well. Because they're not condescending when they give me that criticism. I'm talking about the people who are super close to me.
You know that they actually want
They
it for
actually
your good.
genuinely want for my good, my better. They know my heart, I know their heart, and I know how to communicate. I think when you're younger, you don't know how to do all of that, and you surround yourself with the whatever group of people, but they're not going to be your people for the rest of your life. I do still have a very good childhood friend that she and I are still very close, and she's not afraid to call me out, and I'm not afraid to call her out. But also, like, we just know each other on a whole nother level, and so that's what I would say. My favorite thing about the people that I'm surrounded with now is that they can speak to me or correct me or inspire me or challenge me in ways that better me, not take from me and make things worse.
Okay. What's better?
In my life than when I was younger?
Hold on. I'm getting to my question. New question.
Oh, new question.
What would you prefer? A night in with takeout and a movie, or
Yes.
a date night out dressed up at your favorite restaurant in Beaufort? A night in and a movie. Takeout and a movie.
Yeah.
Okay, we got an anniversary, so I'm going to hold you to it. So
By the time this film's anniversary will be over, but yes, I'd rather have. I don't need that.
Okay. So, what is the most important lesson you've learned about setting and respecting boundaries in your life?
That no is a complete sentence. That's probably, I
And
mean,
you have a pretty hard time saying that.
yes. Yes.
You wish you could say it more.
Yes.
Because you're a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is the most important lesson you've learned, or what is the most important thing about compromise in respecting each other's wishes in life?
You don't like to talk things. When you reach a certain point, like if you're just annoyed or you're just aggravated or
If there's too much noise going on.
if there's just too much going on, I'm not going to contribute to it, even though there are times that you might be in like that state and I might not like the way you spoke or I might not like the way you handled a situation. I know your heart and I know that it's just in that moment. So you have to be able to read your significant other and know when now it's not going to be productive for me to retaliate or speak back or say whatever. I will use that. I will choose my words wisely so that later on, whenever we maybe are not in the moment of that, or you maybe not as stressed about a situation, I can just go, hey, look, I don't really like how you handled that situation. Like, I know you were upset. I know you were angry. I know that wasn't really directed at me. This is how I felt. And that's just not something that I grew up knowing how to do. It's something that I've learned to do with you.
Okay. So, how do you handle when we are not on the same page about like household choices, design, paint colors? Like, how do you handle that?
Well,
Because
let me just say, I love you.
Again, we're
gonna
very
be honest.
opinionated.
We're both very opinionated. Joe has ideas, and they are his ideas, and they're good. They're great ideas. It's not that it's going to look bad, but I love color.
I knew that statement was going to come
And
up. Yeah. And
the
you love
difference-
glitter, and you love sparkly,
I do,
and you
but
love
not-
crystal
Yes,
shimmering, and
I do love a little bit of sparkle. I don't need rhinestones.
bling. You love bling.
I don't need rhinestones. Well, we're talking about decorating our clothes. Okay, decorate.
house
I don't need
design.
rhinestones, but I do want a little bit of shine, a little bit of sparkle. Joe has ideas in his head, and it's just going to be that way because it's in his head, and he doesn't that's the end result. Okay, I will say this is a major difference between us two. You design something in your head so that you know what your goal is, right? So you're working towards, you would design this wall behind us and you would lay it all out.
It has to.
And it has to fit the way you said it fit. I am not that way. You give me all the pieces in this room and I'm going to shuffle them around till I feel like they work for me. And it probably is not going to look like I started it, like my first vision. I can deter from my vision. You are this is it. Which is not bad. Now, I think the question was, how do I handle that? Sometimes I'll just okay, whatever. And then sometimes I'll just draw the line in the sand and say, no, I want blue cabinets. Does that make sense? But very rarely do I do that. I do want blue cabinets.
But I feel like we have just come up with a really good compromise.
Yeah. We're going to do a blue
something
wall.
We're very, very happy with.
Yes.
Both of us.
We'll
and I think
compromise on
that's
it.
Huh?
We'll compromise on
Oh,
it.
I thought you said we were going to put rhinestones on it. And I said, huh?
I do not want rhinestones on my cabinet. No.
I misheard you. You said compromise. No. I feel like the older and the longer we're together, the more compromises we have.
We do. Yeah. I mean, we do. So we'll make it work. Like I'm looking at that picture and that's pretty much, go ahead.
Yeah.
Color.
Yeah.
So I'm going to paint the bathroom.
How do we handle...
I think our little...
Last question.
Okay.
Last question. What...
All right, Drew.
All right, it's got to be a good one. What's one of the craziest things you've done that you would consider crazy that you've done in our relationship or while we were married or?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't tend to do things that are crazy or take me out of my comfort zone. I don't know. What would you say?
This is your question. This is your rapid fire. This is your rapid
means
fire
you don't
question.
have an answer to
I don't really
that
have an
either.
answer for it, but I wanted it to be a good one.
It's okay. I don't know the answer to that one because I don't.
Okay, last question. And this is a good one.
Okay.
So how do you handle conflict? Because you know my stand on the work-life balance. So how do you handle the difference we have on opinion of work-life balance and priorities?
Okay, so we learned a long time ago priorities are never in conflict.
Mm-hmm.
But people's priorities can be different.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say to you, there are moments with your work-life balance. I agree to disagree with you on that. But again, because of what I do, allows you to have that outlook on it. And I just have to acknowledge that. Like you have to acknowledge that to me, and I have to acknowledge that to you. So you can go and you can have that non-work-life balance. One of us has to not believe in that, and one of us can. So that's what I would say. Like today, Kess needs me, you need me, my mom needs me, Kate and Kessler need me this afternoon, my best friend needed me tonight. Like everyone needed something from me today, and that's okay. Every day is not like this. So today I'm just going to make sure everybody else is taken care of, and then we'll move on to the next.
Yeah, because we got a 6-day weekend at the beach.
You
coming up.
act like
So-
we're not going to be working our fannies off
You're gonna be
because
working,
we
but
are.
I will say, like, last night, I'm just work all day, and then it was like things were just coming at me last night, and then I had to go write a contract upstairs, and then rightfully so, you were able just to sit and watch a movie, and I'm thinking, why can't I just do that? I can't just turn it off and just
I
sit down
had
and watch a
to
movie.
because my
So,
day had already consumed with everything. I have to. I can't do what you do. I have to have that mental break.
Yeah.
So anyway,
cool. Rapid fire questions ended up. So
Yes.
next one will resume. So thank y'all for joining us on the Gathering Place podcast. Hope has got to run out because she's got a lunch date with her
Yes.
mother.
I just saw
and
the
so she's got to run out. Thank y'all. And I think that was good. I think the
think
rapid
so.
fire was good and people get to know you a little bit better.
probably.
So anyway, we will catch y'all on the next episode of the Gathering Place podcast.